Hey guys, welcome back to New World Carpentry Solutions. In this video, after doing the glue up on the mahogany blanks, these ones are separate from the ones that I did with the cutting boards that have mahogany and various other types of hardwood in them. These are solid mahogany blanks that I decided to actually make a set of egg holders for a friend of mine's. So to start this process, the first thing I need to do is actually trim off the blanks and get them nice and square on the ends. And then I can actually set up to start cutting dados on them. I plan to actually make several pretty much of the side pieces all out of one blank. That way, one, it limits the room for error and allows them to be a lot more accurate as far as the layout and how well they line up together. So in this one, actually, I'm able to get two out of the width of this board. So by plowing the dado all at the same time, when I then rip it in half, I'm going to have the exact same dado. But then also, I'm able to plow 4 total dados on this, which gives me 8 sides, which will allow me to make 4 complete egg holders. So by doing a little bit of math and plowing the dado on this end and then flipping over to the other side, I'm still cutting the exact same dado on the bottom or the ends of this panel. So after that, though, a little bit of math tells me where I need to raise up or move my fence so I can get my second row of dados. So I have one at one end of the panel, one at the other, do my math for the height of the actual egg holder, and then I actually start my dado for my next row of dados. And again, the only thing I'm doing is actually running a pass, flipping it to the other side of the board, running another pass, and then inching my fence over as I go, just to widen the dado itself. I'm taking a test fit probably after every 2 or 3 passes just to kind of make sure that I don't go too large and that my panel still fit in there, to make sure the shelves and everything else for the egg holder are going to make a nice tight glue up. But after I get all these dados plowed, the next thing I need to do though is I should go ahead and start ripping these in half. That process is a little bit more time consuming, a little bit more, fine tuning, because I do want to make sure that I don't make them different sizes. I want to make sure that the eggs can still fit on each one of the shelves. So that's where the math and the initial layout kind of comes in, to make sure that I have enough material. But now that the dados are pretty much dialed in, I believe they all fit at this point. The next thing I need to do is actually rip them to the overall height that I want each one of the sections to be. So taking one pass, and that section right there that I just ripped off is going to be able to give me 2 egg holders, because I'm then going to rip that in half, which will make the each individual side identical, because they're coming from the same piece cut with the same dado. The next thing I do though is actually add a tenon to the top side essentially. So I take the fence and actually line it up to where the blade is right on the edge of the material, take a pass, flip the board end for end, then take another pass which reveals a tenon in the middle of the board. And because I'm flipping the board end for end, the tenon stays perfectly centered. And after I have the tenon centered, the next thing I want to do is actually plow another dado on the bottom of all these pieces. That will actually allow all the egg holders to actually stack on top of each other. So when they're sitting there on the counter, you can actually pretty much stack all of your different units on top of each other. I was thinking about various different ways to make it stackable, and I figured a tenon and a dado would be the easiest methods, because I'm doing all this over at the table saw at the moment. So now that I have all those working and you see how they fit into each other and that allows them to stack, the next thing I'm going to do is actually dial in for the perfect rip down the middle to make these 2 even pieces. And now that I have 2, I'm going to do that for the rest of these pieces, and that will give me a total of 8 sides, which will allow me to make 4 egg holders. The next thing we need to do though is leave the fence dialed in at the same spot, so I can rip all the shelves for the egg holders to the exact same width as all the actual side pieces. And then you can see here how it all fits together and how it actually stacks together. The last process in this series is actually to cut the shelves to the proper lengths. I forgot what the length was on the standard egg holder, but I looked that up online and I just kind of copied it. And now that I have them all dialed into the proper length, the last thing we need to do is actually go into the difficult or time-consuming layout process. I actually end up making a template. You guys will see that in a future video. After doing kind of one laid out roughly, I then decided to go over to a piece of 1/4-inch plywood and make a proper template. That way, just in case if I ever want to make any more egg holders, it's a lot easier to replicate, because I know what size the shelf needs to be, I know what size I need to draw the holes, and the location for all the holes. That was the only time-consuming part on this. I'm not gonna let you guys sit through all that. But after everything's dialed in, the last thing we need to do is actually make the final cuts, and you guys will see all that in the next video. Hope you guys have definitely enjoyed this process. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. Peace.